everyone, this is a trader investor. How did the markets do today? It was quite an interesting day, and it did follow what I mentioned earlier in the day, and that is when there's not a lot of space between entry and potential target, no entry for me. Therefore, there was no entry for me. There was one entry. If you have seen this and if you have taken this beautiful entry, I will talk about that in just a moment. But what I want you to have a clear understanding is when price is near recent high. Tuesday, the 15-minute range high was the high of the day. That high, we touched it and we reversed today. That's why there was no entry at that area. That's why I mentioned this morning, depending on where this is, this area now becomes liquidity. What is liquidity? It's possible that in tomorrow or next week we get this manipulated and market decides what it wants to do at that level. So this could be something that would be manipulated in area, so we're going to watch that out. Of course, price could blow through that and open much higher, then that manipulation is taken care of. So that manipulation is taken care of with no action, except for anybody who went short today thinking that market is going to continue to go down. If it reverses in the morning, this one side manipulation takes care of that position. So because of that, there was no entry to the upside until we see clear break out of this area, test it, reverse. We didn't see that. No entry. So no entry. So I have no entry in SPYs today. To the downside, when we break here, this is our short distance. So there was no entry. The only entry that would happen is once we broke out of here, again, that area become area of manipulation. Anybody who went short, oops, they got wiped out there. And anybody who went long at this area of manipulation, if they don't take profit, which most people don't because their entry is quite up high here until they figure out that this is not a short position, then no taking profit, and boom, price reverses. So in one bar, two positions got taken care of for entry. That same bar took care of the shorts, took their stops, or maybe the next bar, if they had it up here, took care of their position. And then the longs, it took a while for the longs to have their positions stopped out somewhere down here. So where was the entry for the SPYs? Well, very good question you asked. High, higher high, low, lower low, lower high. As soon as we see this formed, and maybe the sequence is better if I put it this way for you: high, low, higher high, lower low, lower high. As soon as we have this, we have a lower low followed by a lower high, then at the break of VWAP area is our entry. And what can I target here? What can I target at this entry? I'm no longer targeting the high of yesterday because that got manipulated already. So yes, the low of that bar is what I'm going to target first. Somewhere around here is the low of that bar. So 66 cents. 66 cents. But I would venture out and target the high of yesterday's 15-minute range. This one would have been a good entry if you wanted to exercise it, right? If you wanted to exercise it. It was a solid entry because the manipulation is taken care of. So you can assume the next level is really not this bar, but these highs of yesterday's 15-minute range, which it gave you more than $1 entry that was acceptable. But there was no re-entry. There was no sign no indication. That's why I say let's skip trades today, and no position for me in SPYs. Qs, even worse, because they just kept dancing around between yesterday's high, low of the range, the 15-minute range, the high and low of yesterday. Price just, it was barely an inside day, right? Because it barely broke the lows, but nothing really to trade in the Qs. Absolutely no action. IWM, I did give you a signal. If we take care of this order block, we have a target way up here. So when the 15-minute range broke, no entry. My entry was here at the high of the 15-minute range. The second time around, once it tests these highs, pulls back and gives me an entry. That was a beautiful entry, 225.17 to 226.25. That was the dollar move that I was expecting. This was a beautiful entry. So this order block is now mitigated. This order block is now mitigated, and we left an imbalance here. We left an imbalance right here. So the 7 o'clock Pacific time bar wanted to test the mid-range of that imbalance, but didn't. So I'm still leaving this imbalance open. The IWM was the best performer in my view today. Even when you look at the results, the 1% up day, that's the best one. Diamonds were terrible as well. We did almost take care of this imbalance, but it wanted to close this gap. What diamonds were doing were just fighting to close this gap. And I'll just draw it here just for the sake of showing you. This is what I mean by imbalance. Halfway, we consider it taken care of. So it wanted to close this gap. The distance for me when it break here, this high was in my way, this was in my way, this was in my way, this was in my way. Absolutely no entry for me. I don't like them when they're very close together. If they're close together, I want price to just continue to go up and leave this other ones behind, not have us headwinds. And so to the downside, no entry for me. To the upside, closing this imbalance would have been an entry, but because of where the high fell, almost at that place, there was no entry. Now to the upside, a solid entry targeting these highs, because these mids would have been negotiated, right? If we start to look at this first, this is negotiated, and this would be almost negotiated. Then the highs broken out of that come back to retest it and give me this, then this would have been my target. This would have been a beautiful, beautiful day, but that's not what the markets had in mind. Overall, not a bad day, but the markets didn't have a strong up move day in mind today. So this is how the market set up today. Did you take any position? And the only clean position really is in IWM. That was the only clean position. SPYs, very tight. If you had seen it, if you had taken it early enough, by early enough I mean when you start to measure, let's use this one instead. If you were right at VWAP for entry, then the high of the 15-minute range is about $1, right? So it depends on exactly where you enter. If you do not have a good entry, if your entry was anywhere down here, anywhere down there, your best case to the close of yesterday would have been $1. That was to the close of yesterday. But anything else, right? Because your target could have been these lows, 60 cents, the 15-minute range high, 90 cents. it would have been a very, very iffy day. So IWM was your best one today. Overall good day. So depending on what you have done, it's a learning moment as well. If you have taken an action, why? If you did not take an action, why? Right? Keep taking notes of those actions. That will help you become a better trader. Journal all your trades. I do journal all my trades. Journal your trades, and then it will help you become a better trader. All right, everyone. I'm gonna see you tomorrow when I do the opening of Friday's session and do an analysis there. For now, enjoy the rest of your evening, day, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.